Is our next session where Shri and I continue developing the release pipeline by writing C# code that kind of transforms and turns itself into YAML. I want to appreciate all the people that reached out to us, asking us for this capability. I really appreciate the people that found this capability something useful to them. I've had a lot of feedback from people really from all over the world, really loving that feature, loving the ability to not have to worry about learning a new language or a new scripting language and just, directly use C# to build these pipelines. And as usual here, I'm joined by one of my favorite people in the world, Shri. Hi, Shri. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
All right, let's do it. Last time, we're supposed to write a failing test, right? Something like that.
Yeah, so we wrapped up with our validations testing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, just a recap. So what we have done is we wrote a couple of validations on validating the path is null and the pipeline is null. So
Mm-hmm.
we are good to go and create our exceptions test.
Let's do it.
Okay, is service test exceptions.cs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This has to be a function class. Okay. So the first level that we will be writing is our dependency validations, right?
Right, right.
And the first dependency that we have in our call hierarchy is
Oh,
um,
wait. Hang on, Trent. So we got the happy path, right? Out of the
yeah,
way, right?
happy path, and
And
we
the
call
validations. So we
this.
just need the brokers that we're gonna call. Sorry, we need the dependency exceptions that
Mhm.
come out of that, right?
Yep.
And I think it's like IO file exception and things like that.
Mhm.
Yep,
I'm just
that's
thinking which hierarchy is first. Is it the file broker or the YAML broker?
which one do we call?
Yeah.
We
So
call the YAML first, right?
YAML
Because we
first.
serialize before we.
Yep.
uh, This is the build serves. Mm.
Oh, yeah. So in that YAML, do they have any dependencies? Is there anything that we have to capture and work on it?
I don't think that we I don't think that we actually captured anything even remotely close to what YAML can produce. I
Okay,
don't think we did. But we can find out though. Like we can easily find out. Can I take your screen for a momento?
sure.
Momento. Okay, so just for the people watching us, there are two ways you can actually find out, what the exceptions, there's actually three ways that you can find what the exceptions are that are coming from a particular library. The library that we're using underneath as a dependency is called YAML.net. This is YAML.net like this. I think our first result, here's the dude. And I think, okay, so this is their source code, right? Maybe this is one thing I really appreciated about Java is that in Java you have to define what exceptions come out of any method you use. Did you know
Mhm.
that, Shri? Do you remember that? Like Java throws methods. I don't know if this is still a thing in Java or not, but see, every method you define, it has to define what exceptions it's throwing.
Okay.
And it can be many of that,
Hmm.
right? So you don't even have to look at the underlying source code or any of that stuff. It'll just tell you, here's what I'm throwing.
Mm.
That's pretty cool, huh? Should probably talk to Mads about this, see what he thinks. All right, let's go back here. So where's the source code for this? He has build and tools, build fix typo, benchmark, ADO tests. There it is. And what is the name of the method that we're using, Shri? Do you
Uh,
remember?
yeah, it's serialize.
It's under serialization, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
serialize. Yeah, the serialize is the method.
It's just called serialize, right? Okay, so it must be here.
Yeah, here we are.
And what does this serialize method do? It calls another
The
method.
one that we are interested is an object parameter.
What it returns is an object. It
It
returns an
takes
object
it takes an object.
and returns a string, right?
Yeah.
So it must be this one then.
Hmm.
Okay, so what does serialize do? There's argument null exception. Take note of that one, Shri.
Okay.
And then I see, okay, brother here might not, so he's not inheriting anything, and he is calling a serializer. This is this is the constructor. I guess it's only just argument null exception here. It's also possible that it's also possible that his function will produce a a null exception, right, Shri? In here. So this guy that takes a buffer and takes a graph talks to a thing called emitter,
Mhm.
which calls another function. Is there any other serialized function that he's calling in here? Let's see. Yeah, there it is. And then there is edit emit document. Where's this emit document? There it is. Emitter emits document. Okay, what is this emitter guy and what does he do? Let's see. Emitter, I event emitter, or is it event emitters? Jeez. Let's see. He's calling I emitter. Okay, let's see where that is. I emitter. This repository. So I just need to find, and it could be an external thing. We don't know. We'll see. Is this something that he defined? Let's make this interesting. Interface I emitter. That will find exactly. There's our guy. No, he has just. Yeah, there it is. This guy here. Where is this guy living exactly? So this guy is just living in the core piece. And here's the actual emitter guy. And he calls a function called emit. This function here.
Hmm.
Okay. Events enqueue, dequeue, analyze events. Okay. Scholar. Okay, he's using a lot of native functions that may emit or throw certain exceptions. How do you
Hmm.
like this part here? Look at this magic. Love it. Let's see. Um, wow.
Way that
Okay.
say through, if we can search for the word through in this repository and see.
Yeah, he has a thing called that's a good idea, Sherry. So there's YAML exception and invalid operation exception. And then let's see what else he has in there. So argument exception. You're taking those, right? YAML exception. Yeah, YAML or invalid operation exception. So so the exceptions that I see here is argument null exception, an argument exception,
Mm-hmm.
an YAML exception, an invalid operation exception.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the ones that I see in in this library, basically.
Yeah. And maybe if you want to call the generic exception also.
Just the exception.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So here,
something.
how can
Mhm.
we group into validations and dependencies?
So this is definitely a dependency validation.
Mm-hmm.
And all of all of these, except for the YAML exception, are dependency validations. Like all of these dependency validation exception. This is
Okay.
dep this is dependency validation exception. This is dependency exception.
Mm-hmm.
This is a dependency validation exception, and
Mm-hmm.
this one is just a dependency exception,
Yeah.
which the generic exception will just treat it as a service exception. Say, well, an exception occurred and we're dealing with it because that's something that can be generated internally from your service as well, which is interesting because how are we going to distinguish between that? Just raises up the question,
Mm-hmm.
how do we distinguish between an exception that's coming from a dependency versus that generic exception? Well, it's already a catch-all kind of thing.
Yes.
Like if it's not specifically defining a particular issue, but also the exception might be because of the lack of standardization in the dependency that we're working with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's still coming from the dependency, but we might think it's coming from our own service.
Yeah.
Something to think about. We'll see what that looks like because this is going to be a little bit interesting today. Ideally, what I usually do is that I put a wrapper around the dependency and publish a new NuGet package that takes that exception and just calls it a service exception. Like this is
Uh,
how I would do it. You know what I mean? Like I would go and say, okay, this system is imperfect. It doesn't necessarily follow a particular standard.
mm-hmm.
And we want to build $1 million business with something like that. So you have this dependency, you have this library in here that's imperfect. It has issues in it. It's not standard compliant, right? And you're trying to integrate your standard compliant library with it. And the problem here is that there's a lot of issues that are happening in here that is turning your work from green to slightly non-compliant. So what do we do? Exactly what we do with the UI. We just go here and we say, okay, fine. Let me wrap this guy
Mm-hmm.
with let me wrap this guy with another library. And this library would try to mitigate the issues that are happening in this non-compliant
Mm-hmm.
library. And then let me have my library here be compliant because both the wrapper and the system itself have they speak a common language.
Mm.
That's my trick with that.
Okay. So when you say library, is it something again a separate thing that we have to pack, or are you thinking about having a broker and a foundation layer which has everything to that, which acts as an external connection?
No, an actual like NuGet wrapper. But
Okay.
but we won't have to do this for now. We just handle the exception. And then later on we'll wrap this YAML.NET or
Mm.
even create our own YAML serializer. It's not really that hard.
Okay. Yep.
So the library is not too bad. It does very well, but it just doesn't seem to be covering all the stuff that we want to cover. Right, back to you. Let's do it. I'm
Okay.
sending I'm sending you a message with the stuff here.
Yep. Okay. So here we are where we start with first our dependency validations, right?
Hmm.
Single data. And now comes another question. So right now we have two levels of brokers that we're taking dependency on. If
Hmm.
both of them are going to have the same validation exceptions being thrown, because file IO also has argument exception and argument null exception, right? So it's fine to group them together, right?
No, we probably should have built like its own foundation service in front of it, in front of each one.
But for now, how do we go about it?
For now, we will just take the exception, whatever it is, and call it a dependency validation exception. But we
Yeah.
still need to localize it, right? That's what you're asking. The localization, right?
Or the distinct exceptions that it gets thrown, we'll
Hmm.
combine both of YAML and then file together.
Can you go to the solution real quick? Like the actual logic? Let's try the yeah. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that's really bad. Why is this bad? Because we're doing orchestration in here
Yeah.
in a way, right?
Yeah.
I think my argument for this last week, my memory is coming back to me now, is that, oh, writing to a file is really just a utility broker, but that argument is also not true. Because how is writing to a file and writing to a database is any different?
Yes.
They're both I/O.
Hmm.
I think we need to re-architect this library
True.
tree.
Yeah.
So let's shift the focus on something else. Let's go and build a This is gonna be fun because people will get to see us literally changing the core of a library completely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take your screen again.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we are here for,
Yeah.
making it better.
Yeah. So, so listen, guys, just having something that works. So if you and your pair or your friends or your colleagues, if you start saying let's do this later more than one time, that means you need to do whatever you're doing now. And Shri and I already said it more than one time in just this one discussion. That means we're foregoing a certain standardization and a best practice for the best interest of time. But that's also against our principles. Like our manifesto is to basically go and say, do it right, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Because eventually other things will be built on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we're gonna end up with a situation, right? So you have this YAML broker, right? YAML, you probably already have the architecture in your head, I know. And you
Yeah.
have the file broker,
Mm-hmm.
but just for the people kind of seeing what we're doing, this is the file broker.
Mm-hmm.
And we need two foundation services in front of these. See how when you're running according to a standard, it will expose really fast when you're starting to write code that is not. Um, but this will be a serialization service, and this will be file service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we're gonna need an orchestration service. Great. We'll get to show people orchestration services. What's
Yeah.
wrong with that?
Mhm.
And then this will be our serialization orchestration service. And this way, if the same exception happens here or here, the exception that will happen here, it will get wrapped up in a failed failed file processing failed file exception, and in here will be failed serialization exception because both of these will throw argument null exception. Which is
Mm-hmm.
which? How do we help people know, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this guy will be, yeah, yeah. So this guy will be talking to this library, the YAML.NET,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy will actually be actually writing straight into the um into the IO, straight
Mm-hmm.
into the IO. So it's basically going to be writing straight into the file, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this more, Shri. So let's turn things around, at least for the release, and then we can do it for the build as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll take the screen. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go back to
Just a thought here. On the
yes, go ahead.
orchestration entity, is that name okay, or do we want to consider serialized to file orchestration service or so?
Mm, we should call it um, release orchestration service
Mm.
because there will be another one that's the build orchestration service.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like release better.
Mm-hmm.
I think release is much better. What do you think?
Yeah, it's good.
And then our exposer will be just the client tree. So client API,
Mm-hmm.
and this client will be A.NET clients.release client, and there will be a build client.
Yeah.
And these clients are the ones that know how to serialize this. I love this. This is a great example. Okay, fine. Let's go back here. Yeah, let's do things right. I like to be right more than being done. Because eventually you'll be done, right? One way or another, you'll be done. But
Mhm.
will you be right? I don't know. I don't know about that. All right, let's go to the master branch. Okay, and then let's go and say users, Hassan, Habib, foundations, file, right? And where is our services? Is our brokers, models, services, folder, foundations. Starting over, right?
Mhm.
And then let's go into files. I like the fact that we can reuse these foundation services and orchestrate whatever we want them to orchestrate.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. All right, my friend, let's do this. So we can go here and say, um, in fact, actually, we might not even need the build service. Like what distinguishes a build service from a release service? You're basically passing the same object and doing the same work,
Mhm.
unless, Shri, we want to go here and explicitly identify this object and validate every single property. That's
Yeah.
different.
Mhm.
We'll see. Okay, so let's go here. Here's a class. Here's an interface. File service. Service talks to a file broker, and the file broker does the magic. This here is void write to file string path. And we have this guy here.
Yeah, it takes path and the data that it needs to write.
How come your name is not here? Same.
We have to fix it. Mhm.
So this is it takes the name for the file too. Sure.
Path and the content that it has to write.
Yeah, that's right. And the content is what? Just a string as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, file service, and then this will implement iFile service. We can go here and implement it this way. And then let's bring in some dependency, which is iFile broker. Hey, what are we gonna do about the logging for this service?
Mhm.
Because this is a library. This is not a running. To think about that, huh?
Yeah. So, what's the intent of the user when they see the logging? So, the client is going to give them useful messaging, right away for them to act on it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's going to be dependency, then there's something that they'll have to act on the dependency libraries where they can create an issue or something of that sort with the error trace.
Yeah,
What's more than that?
that's it. That's all that it is. It'll just give them the kind of right visibility.
Yeah.
But because this is a library that
Mm-hmm.
is being used within a system, it's
Mm-hmm.
the responsibility of the user of this library to do the logging because
Mm-hmm.
we will propagate the right errors to
Yeah.
them. But what about the internal errors? The errors that we wrap and hide away? Well, it's still in the stack trace.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
they
can
can.
hide away, right? I think we have found so whatever error that we're going to throw to client, the inner exception will have the actual exception. So there is no hidden thing at all.
Okay, I'm okay with that logic. I like that. Cool. Why is this guy above this guy? That's weird. A.NET test console. Okay, A.NET.
It's taking capitalization and converting into binary code.
Do you know why? Because we forgot the T in here.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Uh, oh
See?
no, is it that easy? Are you sure?
Yeah, yeah, that's all there it is.
Okay.
I mean,
Um,
we're gonna have to
gonna
change
correct the T as
namespaces.
well.
Huh?
Yeah, but I think let's not do that right away. We'll do it
Okay,
in a clean way.
sounds good. Let's do that later. So I can revert.
Hmm.
Sounds good. Let's just make sure things are building. What do you mean? I broke things.
Hmm.
See, could not find file A.NET test. Well, it's gone. Oh, I need to revert this guy as well. Jeez. Okay. Let's revert. I hope it doesn't take away my files though. See? No, yeah, I didn't. We're good. Okay, because the solution changed where
Hmm.
it's supposed to look.
For
You
the
know what I
project.
mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. And then this guy, annotation null, nullable reference types should only be used in code within a nullable annotation. So these guys wants us to go and do this, like, so it doesn't complain, something like that. I think something like that. I don't know. I don't know about that. We'll see. But we need this to be nullable anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you can also do, I remember back in the olden days, you could have done something like this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back. We don't want the I don't want this error,
Sure.
right? Somehow convert to full property, pull condition up, replace condition with methods, suppress configuration issues. And usually I've seen this a lot in some code. People will just go and do this.
Yeah. That's once forever.
Jeez. How is this supposed to be readable by people? No, I don't like it. Anyway, let's write some tests.
Mhm.
Okay, so the tests that are here, we can go and say foundations, and we can go and say files, and we can go and say file service tests. Please fix the copyrights when you get a
For
second.
sure. Yeah.
Okay, private read-only mock I file broker. Just figured out a new advantage of the wrapping that we do in our foundation services.
Hmm.
Because it's not just the logging, there is also something more. File broker mock. Why did I call it files? It should be file. It should be just file. And is this guy also files? Yikes. Okay. Dealer and oh wait, it's a broker. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, never mind. Okay.
We still say iStorage broker, right? We don't say iStorage, just broker. Because it's just one storage, but here it can write to multiple files.
Yeah, and also because remember how in storage broker we say storage broker dot profiles dot,
Mm.
so that plural aspect. So brokers and controllers are plural, services are singular, usually.
Hmm.
I think it's okay. I think it might work. Or should we call it file broker? What do you think?
If the capability of the IO can give us to access multiple files at the same time, I'm fine with plural. What are we trying to do here in this broker? Access one file per a time?
Create one file at a time. Mm,
Mm. Yeah. In that case, then I would prefer file broker,
let's
like
make it file
logging
broker.
broker, datetime broker, storage broker.
Okay, create a code drop because I don't want it to convolute.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah. Where's the modify? Yeah, undo. Okay, so back to the test.
Mm-hmm.
CTOR. Is that file broken? Mock. It will be files. We'll do mock files broker. And then we also need private read-only I file service. What is it? Tell me, Shri.
Yeah, so this in a way partially standardizes things, but not 100%.
What do you mean? For what?
Dependencies. No, no, on the dependencies. So the idea that you had like a standard library wrapper for the external library,
Mm-hmm.
we are following this pattern
Oh, yep,
foundation,
yep,
the
yep,
partial standardization of the external itself.
yep. It does. I agree 100%. I didn't think of it this way. That's true. True. True, true, true. No doubt, no doubt. Let's see. So, uh, this will be .logic.serialize.
Oh, wait. Or serialize?
Not serialize. It will be .write.
Mm-hmm.
Write to file, right? And then this will be, okay, this will be the file I'm writing in. Public void should write to file. Okay. Random file path. Get random string. Random file. File content.
Content. Mm-hmm.
Random thing. Uh, input content. Expectation is, and this dot file service. Yeah, we're not going to be writing code anymore, Shri. It's all tabs now. It's going to be called tab programming language. Verify broker dot write file.
The
Uh,
annoying part is when I really want to have a tab for indentation, but it doesn't allow me. It has
it's not showing.
right.
Yeah, that sucks. Provide no other calls. And then let's go build that function there, which is get random string. I really hope we have the right, we should. So private static string, get random string, new mnemonic string. There you go. Get value. Wonderful. And then let's go here. Think I might have a failing test for you, Shri. You want a failing test? Is that what you want? Okay. Okay.
There was a recent update on the strategy and matrix. Do you get a look at it on the pipelines?
Oh, really? No, I didn't see it. Do you want to share that?
So what they were saying is you can run the same build in different combinations. So if you want to say, I want to run Node.js version 10, version 12, you can still do that.
I saw this guy, Maitham.
Yeah.
Maitham.
Hmm.
He shared something that I really liked. He said, I liked what he said. He said something to the effect of, we, Maitham Fahmi, I think is his name. There he is, Maitham Fahmi. So he said something to the effect of the other day that the there is a new capability
Hmm.
that allows you.
He's even created a pull request for it.
Oh, you did, right?
No, he
Oh,
did it.
oh, he did, like
The process.
allowing multiple.
There is
Really?
one is the multiple.
It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. He's really doing a lot of good stuff. I appreciate Matham. He's all right. So he actually data at GitHub Actions path ignore feature. Mm,
But this is something to, I mean, this example,
discuss. This one to discuss. Where
yeah,
is the one, Shri? Did we merge it already?
second, the GitHub Action Strategy feature. Yeah. Yeah, this is the piece.
Nice. That's the one you were talking about, right?
Hmm?
Is this a model? This is a model, right?
Not really. It's just a property here, but I'm still thinking through is that's the only way to do it or not.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's just a property. I don't know how I feel about this though.
Yeah, that's what I'm still debating.
Also, what's up with the underscore? I thought we had this discussion. Let's see. Let's not have underscore for private class members. Here is for reference. But I started a fight on GitHub the other day just to bring that kind of awareness. C
The
sharp.
story behind underscore.
Yeah. So someone was asking me this question the other day, and I basically said to them, "What's up with the naming convention?" So let's do that. Um, so there's that part. Here's the coding. Here's the coding standard. I appreciate my thumb. His stuff is good. So let's go here. Where did we put it? Variables, cla private class member, private. Where did I put that? Is it in classes? I think so. Member. Yeah, there it is. That's my stuff. That's right there. Referencing. Okay, let's go back here and put it here. I didn't see that PR. Sorry, Shri. Please keep up with Python because I might not be able to see this.
Yeah, the only
Okay.
piece is, you're in on the property class, we are having some logic of conversion, which I am still debating if that's the way to do.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know about that because there's logic there. We need to be
Yeah,
able to separate. But this might just be his way of saying, hey guys, think about this,
yeah.
right?
I get that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, strategy. And so this is what I mean, like strategy is a model, right?
Hmm.
So where's that strategy model at? So there's matrix,
So strategy
strategy.
is fail fast and matrix model is what defined above.
Maybe it can be much simpler than that.
Hmm. Hmm.
It could be much simpler than that. All right, let's go back to work. Let's do this one test and then we see where we're gonna go from there.
Yeah. Okay.
So
After.
you said you wanted a failing test.
Oh,
That's what you
you
said.
had, right? No?
Well, I didn't run it, so so it says to run first.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go, Shri. Okay, let's go to town. Let's make it happen.
Okay, so let me. Okay, I don't have any changes. I'm going to make. Don't save. Yep.
Yep. This will be a quick service tree. It's not really that hard.
Mm-hmm. Lesions file. Here we are. So there are still in the metrics, the strategy one, they do have certain rules that you'll have to have this combination, that combination, and even in the path ignore. So if you're ignoring a path, then these attributes are not allowed. So I'm just thinking out what should we do? Do we take control of those validations? So then we'll be tightly coupling to them. Uh,
We have to only validate what matters to us. Remember, every service for itself.
yeah.
But are you thinking, or are you thinking more like big picture, like what is like the validation that they're doing versus what, well, we don't know what, like, we know that they're throwing an exception, but we don't know what the rules are that they're using to throw these exceptions. Also, there is absolutely no guarantee just because you validated on your foundation service layer that your broker isn't going to be doing something funny, or whatever is under that broker is going to be doing something funny. So to the best of our interest, as far as we know, this works this way, you know. Uh-oh. I
Mm,
might have missed something. Oh, you know what it is? I forgot to say verify it was cold once. No, I did. I'm good. I did. Why is it mad then?
mhm. What did I do?
Oh,
Right to profile.
where did I see write alt text just right now?
Mm, right to oh, write all text is at the broker level,
Okay, okay.
at the
So
actual broker.
so go back to the error on the test. Expect the invocation once but zero times? Really? Why? They're primitive types, so we
Let
don't need to, mhm.
clean and rerun.
Yeah, that's weird.
Or maybe I switch the content, data, path and data,
That might be it.
path and data, right? Yeah.
Path and data. Okay, and what did I pass in the test? Path and content. I thought.
Path
What?
and content. Oh, here,
Oh, I passed the same thing twice. Because I'm old, I don't see.
yeah.
Okay.
Autocomplete takes the alphabetical, so C comes before P.
Right. Nice. Nice.
Okay. This is a pass. Then we are shifting our focus to our validations test, right? So,
Hmm.
service test validations drive.cs. Okay, so the first one is for the null check, right?
That's right. Validation. Input validation. Hmm.
And this is a string.
Yeah, just a string.
So
Yep.
null, then we'll have
Empty,
for
null empty or white space. Hmm.
line data. So I was about to ask you, what do you think about this parameter aliasing this one? So this says data.
Yes, Shri. Absolutely. You just created thousands of code drop tasks by doing that. I
So
don't
could
know.
solve it
Is
by that.
data? let me just think. Is data even indicative? That's the most generic thing I could think of.
It's like
Especially
you
if the,
need data and data.
yeah, I don't think we need it, Shri. I don't know. Do we?
Mm, I kind of think it's overkilling here because inline data of null, that's fine, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see how I feel about it. Like, logically, sometimes you look at code and logically it makes sense, but you don't feel good about it.
Mhm.
I'm looking at it, I'm trying to kind of, yeah, I think it's redundant. Yeah, let's not do that. It's just too much noise on the screen. Mhm.
So this one is going to be path is invalid. Valid path. I'm expecting the file service in invalid path and some content. Random string. Okay, and here expecting I need an action here. Right? Action right to file.
Yep, yep. I'm so happy we found this action idea. Were you were you around when we decided to take action for throwing exceptions, or did that happen even before?
I think it's before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So where are my exceptions? Yes, well, so I see fail. Oh, this is directly our native exception rate. So this can be a let
Hmm.
valid file exception.
So do we call it invalid? Yeah, it'll be invalid file exception. That's right. Hmm. And Tree, we could do the. Why don't we do the? We should do the report validation instead of one by one. What do you think about that?
Report validation. So you want to do both at a
So,
time because I
so
was just
yeah,
it's not a model, right? So you want to validate that in way.
you know what? You're right. It's not
Yeah.
one model.
We're
That's
not
a good art.
summarizing it, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Go for it.
Okay. So here we are models. So let me go here for validations, files. Oh, are we not?
Do we not have exception in here?
Interesting.
Huh. Ha ha ha. Because we're not doing reporting, so we never found the reason to.
Mhm.
Interesting.
It's
See,
8.55K. Awesome.
how crazy is that, right?
Yeah,
Did
they
you did
wanted
you
something
see
new for their life,
did
for
you
the
see Rit did you see how many downloads Restful Sense is at? Go to back to NuGet A.net on the like just this stat. Just type Restful Sense in there. Phew. I am so happy people kind of, benefiting from the work that we do.
yeah.
This makes me very happy, truly.
return, and then here is invalid. So now
Mhm.
comes the question. So here we say file is invalid for the client itself, right? For the
Mhm.
client, is this message meaningful?
It's not file is invalid, it's invalid file. Error occurred, right?
Yeah.
Now back to your question. Um, Back to your question,
Hmm.
is this enough information
Yeah.
for them to operate on, right?
Or do we want to say invalid path exception?
I like invalid path exception. Let's do it this way. Or invalid file path exception?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. I like that. Yeah, that works.
Hmm. So here, mhm, yes, invalid file path,
Hmm.
zeros, and try again. This is neat.
Hmm.
Okay, and we need the wrapper, right?
Yep.
It's
The outer categorization
yes,
level.
an exception. File. So here we are.
Tree, did you see this girl that was like, during my interview today, I poured some water into a cup and it
Yeah.
over. I love these memes. It's a problem. I poured some water into a cup, and the interviewer was like, "Are you nervous?" No, I just give it 110%. Oh my God. I don't know why that ticked me so much. It's hilarious. I don't know. People are just funny. People can say the funniest things.
Okay. Okay. So now we are good, and we say validation exception, and then right to file action, right?
Hmm.
And then I'm going to verify my dependencies. So this dot verify, we try to find what is any. Okay.
Okay. Why never? That's where you're throwing your. Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. You're fine.
Validations.
Yep, 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 yep. Shutting up now. You're the boss. You know it. Okay.
I think it's good enough. Mhm. Oh, what happened? No.
You broke it.
Oh, I had the previous file created.
Yikes.
Yep. Where is that? Under unit test. Under releases, delete. Yeah. Okay. Run.
It's my turn.
Hopefully, if it fails for the right reasons, no exception is thrown.
Yeah, this part is important.
Yeah.
Having it fail for all the right reasons. It's
Okay. It's your turn in a moment.
my turn now. Okay.
Okay. See. Push. Yep.
All right. Let's go to this. All right. You see my screen, right, Shri?
Okay.
The most famous thing people said in 2022, 2021, and I'm assuming 2022 is a big candidate. Can you see my screen? Okay. Let
Yeah.
me share my screen here.
Can you hear me okay?
Can you guys hear me? Hello? Oh my God, that's crazy. Crazy business. Okay. Okay, let me just do this. Okay, so test explorer. All right. Looks like you gave me a failing test. What's that all about? Why the hostility, Shri? What's that for? Okay, let's go back here. Gonna do a little tiny try catch in here. It's not asynchronous. That's okay. And then validate, validate file path. This is your. Actually, we're gonna make it Shri the we're gonna make it a validate inputs, right?
Mm-hmm. I really wonder when they use this library and if they get a message that, invalid file path, I was like, oh, really? Did system.io is throwing me a very nice name?
Mm,
So,
By the way, like I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think exceptions are getting enough love in software development. I don't think people look at them as like, oh, I am perfect. My code will never fail. Why should I ever care about exceptions? Who would ever, you know what I mean? So, so yeah,
like, I'm never going to die in my life, so let me do
yeah.
all the nonsense that I want to do.
Yeah. Right, right. I'm never gonna die. Let me do crazy things. Here you go, Shri. You want exception handling? Here's exception handling for you. We don't even have to say exception. We just do this. That's how you do it like a gangster. That's the real deal right there. You have any problems with that? I do. I'll tell you that much. All right, so this guy is supposed to catch invalid file path exception. Valid file path exception. Okay, I don't know why I'm building it backwards though. This is the exceptions piece. Let's create another one. It really sucks that it's not nesting the files. I think there's a hack around that. Someone talked to me about this the other day. I just don't remember um what it was,
I
the trick.
project type, so APIs
That's what
that
I thought also, but I think you could hack that configuration.
is
Yeah, yeah. So private static, um, private static void validate file path takes in a path. If is invalid, path throw new invalid file path exception. Okay, and then private static is invalid, and then we can path in any string in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we could go and say if string is null case, pass in the string in there. Just for the people watching us, this at allows you to use reserved keywords. So there are keywords like integer, for instance, right? If you try to go and call your variable integer,
Mm-hmm.
it won't work. Why? Why? Because int is a reserved keyword. But if you do this, it becomes a it becomes something that you can use.
Nice.
So I hope this is useful for I hope this is useful for Shri already knows that stuff. We don't need to tell her, but people,
Oh, I think we just do the same
uh,
thing.
yeah, you just return. We just did the same thing for the events. Is that what you say?
Events handling. Okay, maybe. Yeah, not on top of my mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, just for people watching us, is null or white space is actually checking for is null empty or white space. I never actually, Shri, I never actually had the enough curiosity to go check. Should we
Mhm.
go see? I don't want to, I don't want to give myself nightmares, but let's see. Source.net.
The description says so. If you over it, it says it checks for empty.
What's the one we're using? Is null or white space?
Uh-huh.
Here's the code. Yeah, but the descriptions don't always. Okay, so if it's null, that's true. That's easy, right? And we're gonna iterate. Oh, see, this is the one. See? This is the empty one
Mm.
because it goes and iterates over every character,
Mm-hmm.
and then it says if every character here,
Mm.
if there's at least one character that is not a white space, then return false. Otherwise, return true.
Mm-hmm.
Could probably write better code than this, but anyway, let's go back here. I don't know, maybe you and I can rewrite the entire .NET framework. Who knows, right? It's open
One more
source.
thing. After this, I do have the to-do list of exceptions where we wanted to wrap things of entity framework update calls so that we can stop doing our double broker calls in the foundation layer on update workflow.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, Shri, sounds good. Sounds like a deal. Deal, no deal. So file exception, this guy gonna get this guy, and then it will say throw new file validation exception with invalid exception, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wish they let us do something like this. That would make me really happy. Let's see. So this guy, what is this guy does?
I
Try
kind
does
of
not.
like it keeping it consistent because if we want to say the conditional statements like if, switch, they have to be scoped. I kind of like if try and catch can also be scoped even though it's a single line.
Fine, sounds good. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Look, it passed.
Hmm.
So in here should throw validation exception on right if path is invalid. Pass. I wrote that, by hand because there's some there's a couple of things I'm saving in my clipboard that I don't want to lose.
The clipboard is not supporting your power.
Like I have the Windows V and it shows me all the things I copied before, but
Mm.
I don't want to I don't want that to change, so I have to type by hand. That's just torture. Okay, so this is invalid file validation, invalid file content exception, right? So it's invalid file content exception, and then everything is the same, right, Shri? So let's go into
Line 60. So some path.
some content, right?
So now we are doing the invalid content. So we'll have to have a random path.
Oh, right. Good call. Yes, yes,
Mhm.
100%. Okay.
And we will swap the parameters in line 72 and 73.
Okay, sounds good.
Mhm.
Really want to make me copy, huh? Not gonna happen. Let's see. Like this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, let's go create a model. Let's see if we can. Where did you put the models, Shri? Did you put it
Oh,
under services?
yes.
No, we don't need services, right? You can't put services under models.
Hmm.
Why? You
Okay.
can't say
That's
foundations.
patience. Okay.
What happened to you? Huh? Okay, let's throw that away. Foundations, files, exceptions. You're gonna have to change the namespace right
Sure.
now. The file invalid, file content exception. Yay. And then I think public. And then in here, we're basically gonna go and say, what did you say? You said invalid file path fix errors and try again. Valid file. Okay.
Mhm.
It's a different path than this
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
because
Definitely.
let's see. While we're at it, Shri, let's fix that. And then the world just completely falls apart, right?
Mhm.
So so in the file service, the exceptions, yep, need this guy, need this guy, and then just on the exceptions area, we're gonna just take care of this is gonna say it's redundant, so Control X will take care of it. Okay, perfect. And I think that's a failing test for you. I
Mm.
think. Yay.
Yeah.
So let's go here, say throw, should throw validation exception on right if content is invalid. It's all you. Have fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Mhm.
All right.
Okay. So let's go here. And I need to now validate inputs as content here.
All right.
Here. So now this can be validate inputs and string content, and this can be
Mm, pretty cool. Yep. Let's do it.
And mm, first one I'm going to validate is the path.
Hmm.
So I say underscore. Is that the way?
Yeah, so you're ignoring the first, but you need to containerize them in like a two parentheses because you're dealing with some sort of a tuple. So underscore and then content. Actually, you don't need to even write content there. Just type object like open close squigglies. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you're examining in here. You want to examine if the path is null.
Mm-hmm.
Then just put null first, and then the next one is underscore. So
If I
null, and yep, null, and then underscore in the second one. Yep. And then here you can throw the exception. But you see, that's the problem though. In here, you're basically saying, let's see, you won't be able to do it this way because, well, there is a way for it. Can you give me control real quick, Shri?
yeah.
So you could possibly do something like, so you wanna check the path, right? That's the one you care about, but you don't care about the second one. When is invalid path, then throw the exception, something like that. You're basically going and saying, give me that guy, whatever that guy is, like this. But this guy here is also a null check in and of itself,
Mm.
right? So give me a second. Let me see if I can do this. I think it's is invalid. Yeah, this will be helpful only if we want to check like null and stuff like that, but it won't help you here. You're
Mm.
gonna have, but let me just think about it. Let's see if um you basically want to say if this guy is null, empty, or white space, right? You can go and say, is it okay if I open Chrome here?
Oh yeah. But I have to just share it again.
Yeah, okay. Let me switch over to Chrome real quick. Okay,
Okay.
let's go here. Pattern matching C sharps. So we can do some nice magic, like check the value itself and do the switch. We can, if you're switching on this guy specifically, let's go back to your screen again real quick. Should be possible. I'll take control again, sure.
Mm-hmm.
It should be possible for us to go and say, why am I not typing? What the heck? Hold on. Okay, yeah, I am able to type. Okay. So this is here is invalid path. This is one case. Would it let me do that?
It's a colon.
Well, the problem is that we're comparing two different things. So let's see here. Yeah, the matching here, just looking at the documentation real quick. The matching here is happening on the value itself. So somehow we need to say that the value that we're examining against is uh, hold tight. Let's see. Should be able to do it on a couple of those without having to. So there's the discards. That's what we want to do. Discards. Okay, just hang on with me. Let's see. Discards should allow us to basically examine on a couple of properties within the same statement, and based on these statements, we can apply a certain let me let me go back to the web page. This is a nice thing to kind of brush on. Hang tight.
Mhm.
So the pattern matching in here in the switch statement, you can go and say within this object that I'm working with, I can extract certain values, and within that object, I can examine certain conditions, right? So, so that's the one model. What about the C sharp switch missions tuple? So that here validates that the value is in a certain way,
Mhm.
but it's doing the check for you. Like it's not saying, um, yeah, see, I'm trying to, let's go here and see. So I want to say if this A is null, empty, or white space, we're testing against that test here. So now I want to go here and say, what if this guy, so we're matching for this guy, but string and null is null or white space like this. And I want to pass in, um, so this would be V1, and this will be, so can I actually go and say test.v1? That guy be happy? I don't think so. What? String system dot string? Is it saying that the string doesn't have null or empty or white space? That's weird. That even the autocomplete is saying it does.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess because if you say an object, you're gonna skip the null. And if you say, I guess just an if else statement would
Mhm.
be okay, Shri, for this, because I don't think it's gonna do what we think it's going to do in terms of, let's see, so pattern, C sharp pattern, hang on, pull pattern matching. it's also C#8. So fruit apple underscore. Oh, this is a type matching. That's pretty cool. I didn't know about that. What about this? This is examining the value. And then what if I want to throw a function in there? Oh, I think I have an idea. Can we go back to your code real quick?
Yep.
Okay, let's try this. Just a sec. I think I know what to do with this guy. Need to find the old school way we used to do the exceptions in older patterns.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go and say, okay, give me the validation, and I hope these guys didn't change everything since, because we used to use that pattern a lot for validation. Do you remember? Were you around when I'd say, oh, yeah, yeah, I did the shift, while we were working together, right? For the
Validations.
for the validations, right? Yeah, yeah, there it is. Found it. Yeah. So we can go here and say case when is invalid, and then you're passing that path in here, and then I don't think we need, this guy can't be static.
I think when will take it's a when will result in a Boolean validations, right? So um
Yeah, and that guy returns a boolean. So it's good, right?
yeah. And equal of what? So
I'll tell
when
you.
true. Okay.
So this doesn't need to be a fat arrow. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So need doesn't really this doesn't really leverage what I want it to leverage. This doesn't really do what I want.
Now, inside the case curly braces, can we not say path is the variable that we are validating?
You could go and say something like this, but it's super useless. Like you could go and say, underscore. Um, I guess you could do something like this. You could go and say care about. Let's see. Let's try it together. Let's go and say I care about path, but I don't care about content. In this case, you want to go and do something like this, but this is also not okay. Sorry. You're gonna need to do something like this, but this is also ugly. It will work, but this is gonna skip the null part. Like
Oh,
if you're,
why? Because is
huh?
not white space will take care of it, right? No?
No, this
Oh,
pattern
yeah, the path.
matching,
Got it. Okay. Only it's not null, it'll come. Okay. Mm.
yeah, I wonder if we can just do, yeah, your best bet is this guy. And then you put content in here. Where's this argument null exception coming from? Did I type that?
Yeah.
Yikes. File path exception. This is invalid. Content exception. Can you run the tests and see? I don't know if you handled the exceptions though.
Okay. I'm not able to get the control. I'm not able to find my mouse pointer. Okay, I got it. Here we are. So let me go here and fetch invalid. Okay. Yeah, it did.
It worked.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. Okay. All right. Let's finish this next week, okay?
Sure.
I hope you found this fun. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you later. Take care, Shri.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.